Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. That was John Prine's Christmas in Prison.
In case you're not familiar with that.
It was Christmas in prison and the food was real good. We had turkey and pistols carved out of wood.
We are in front of our Christmas tree. We've got the Yule log on our TV. We do not have a fireplace, but we have that on our TV. And we put it on there actually frequently. And if you turn the volume up, it has like crackling sounds. So it kind of makes it festive.
And it's episode 52.
So welcome to Christmas week. We both took this week off to just kind of like, we hadn't taken any time off since like August, so there's that.
Yeah.
At least for you, your vacation doesn't roll over. Mine does, so you need to like use it up, and you should at the end of the year. Unfortunately, David had to work for a few hours today, so that kind of stunk.
Well, it's funny because obviously COVID is on everybody's mind and all that. And one of the things that I have to do in my job is kind of stay on top of all the different rules, at least the things that affect litigation and the courts, because I'm a legal editor for an online service for lawyers. And so naturally today, the Illinois Supreme Court came out with some new rules that I had to jump on and
Gosh darn it.
edit some things so that our subscribers would be up to the minute.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like a lot of stuff is very time sensitive, so you can't just say like, I'll just wait till next week, kind of thing.
Right, and the way this year has gone with the pandemic, in some ways, obviously, some people, have had the negative job effects and, losing their jobs or being furloughed and that sort. So I guess I'm really lucky not to be in that position. But on the other hand, it also is a lot more work because there's all these unexpected things that we have to deal with. So.
And constant changes, and updating.
Changes. So it's a whole different level of stress. There's stress from dealing with the pandemic, stress from being kind of locked in your house, stress from all of us sort of being on top of each other, and then added stress with work. So
yeah, it's a lot.
So Merry Christmas. Yeah.
But we're happy to have a few more days off before Christmas, just to get things together. Although obviously this year's different. In years past, we've gone to the mall and Christmas shopped, and got our kids' stuff there. Obviously this year we did everything online. But one of the fun things I liked when we did Christmas shop is go to Buffalo Wild Wings and had a wings and a beer. So we did not do that this year.
It just happened to be on the way to the mall or on the way back.
Yeah, and sometimes the traffic would be kind of like locked up, and it's like, well, why don't we just get a bite to eat before, instead of having to do that. So, so that's always fun.
And how we settled on that, I don't really know. It just was sort of
I
convenient.
love Buffalo Wild Wings,
Yeah, we
but
kind of do. Do you remember the first time we went to one? This was a long time ago. Mark had a doctor's appointment.
Oh my gosh,
and
yes.
It was on a weeknight.
Yes.
And we were coming back from the doctor's appointment, and it was just a convenient stop.
I totally forgot about that. He was probably in 5th grade or something like
right.
that.
And he was a meat eter then.
Yes.
So he enjoyed himself at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yes, probably one of the last times he did.
Yeah, it may have been.
That's a funny memory. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Because I'd never been to one before that time.
Yeah, I don't think I had either. But obviously we're ahead of the game this year, ordering online, which is good. But then it's always just getting last minute things. But tomorrow is my happy place. Going to Whole Foods just to get some last minute things for our Christmas dinner. Just curious what you guys make for Christmas Day. We, in the past few years, have made like a big roast, which turns out amazing. And we're making scalloped potatoes with it, a giant salad. And then our vegan kids I'm not sure what they're doing.
Yeah, they're kind of on their own.
They are.
Well, it's funny because we used to we didn't always have Christmas dinner at home because that, in the past, of course, we'd be going to other people's houses, and sometimes it would be on Christmas and sometimes it wouldn't be. Sometimes we'd have, one family would be like the weekend after Christmas, and then the other family would be the weekend after that. So it was always up in the air.
Yes, and it always elongated the whole holiday.
There were times when we would do turkey for Thanksgiving and then again for Christmas. Now, I like turkey. I can eat it anytime.
Same.
But it was kind of, I don't know how we got the idea to switch a few years ago to doing roast. Well, it's been a long time now,
Yeah.
more than a few years, but to doing roast beef on Christmas instead of turkey.
And then for leftovers, having roast beef sliced really thin, Stubbs barbecue sauce. It has to be Stubbs because it's like a thinner barbecue sauce. Biscuits.
Well, not only that, although I didn't think of this at the time, it makes sense because Stubbs is from Texas, and barbecue in Texas is usually beef, not pork,
Yes.
because of the cattle industry. So it happens to go really well with beef.
So
You
good.
slice it really thin, and you use the Stubbs, as you said, it's a little bit thinner. It's not a real thick sweet sauce. It's spicy.
It's spicy.
And it is a little bit vinegary.
I was just gonna say it's a little bit vinegary too. It's a nice combination with the beef to have like a nice sandwich.
As we learned from a local food show, the Chicago barbecue tradition, the traditional sauce in Chicago is a little more vinegary.
Yes.
It's not as sweet as some other places like Memphis or I guess Kansas City is kind of sweet too. But in any
Definitely.
event, it's not like totally vinegary like North Carolina. But
Which
it
I
is.
also love.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I'm not a huge fan of the mustard-based sauce that is in some. I know that's one variety of North
My
Carolina.
grandpa used to make like pulled pork, which
Yeah.
would be just pork, vinegar, hot sauce, crushed red pepper flakes, and I believe that was it. It was just
Yeah.
kind of like but it was kind of moist.
Moist. Like an Italian beef when you dip it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was always a good thing. But that's like our favorite thing. So we'll see how it goes at the store tomorrow since it's we might have to wait outside. But we got our big winter coats. We've been walking outside, so I don't think standing outside for a few minutes is going to bother us.
Yeah, and the weather isn't really supposed to be that bad. We've actually been pretty lucky this. We had no snow so far.
No snow.
Which is
Not any shovelable snow so
Well,
far.
I did
Knock
shovel
on wood.
once. I did shovel once, and it probably wasn't even necessary. But that was
I totally forgot.
That was a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't recently. And the only reason why I did was because it was a little bit slushy, and the temperature was supposed to go down. So I didn't want to be all icy out there.
That's nice. Because, I mean, there's still people who are still walking in the neighborhood. You don't want people to trip.
Every time that it snows at all, though, I'm waiting for the guy across the street to get his snowblower out. This
Yes.
is that we have a neighbor who's a snowblower fanatic.
And a leaf blower fanatic.
That too.
A double leaf blower.
Yeah, he'll have two.
He's got two. We're like, those are going to go right back on your lawn as soon as the
Right.
wind hits it. But I think it's just something he enjoys.
Oh yeah, and he'll do the entire block. Well, he
And
does
the
his.
street.
He's across the street. He does his. Yeah, he'll do the street too. Yeah, that's true.
I did see him because when I was working in Claire's bedroom, I could look out the window because I was like, why is that noise still happening? And I don't know, obviously lawn services in the neighborhood and everything. And I saw it was our neighbor and he had two and he was actually doing the whole street. So I was like, okay, if you want to blow the leaves from the middle of the street to the sidewalk, that's fine.
The lawn services make a lot of noise, but they're done in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of noise over a very short period of time. And we actually have an ordinance in our first they actually banned gas powered leaf blowers, and then there's a lot of complaints because I think mostly because people had they hired people to do it,
Right.
and it affected the lawn care businesses. So then they changed the ordinance so that you could have a gas powered leaf blower, but it had to be below a certain decibel level, and supposedly you had to actually have your leaf blower registered.
Like tested
Yeah.
to see how loud it is.
I think, in fact, that if you
That's
were to
funny, I
go
didn't know
buy a leaf blower at Home Depot or whatever, it's probably anything you bought off the shelf would probably be below that threshold.
Yeah.
It's really the ones that the commercial services
Right.
use that are allowed. I'm fairly confident none of them actually have their leaf blowers registered, but in any event, it was.
Or anybody's gonna say
Right.
you're gonna get a ticket. Or
Right,
whatever.
of course not. But it was just a whole very kind of silly.
That
I
is
mean,
funny.
I would understand if they were regulating it for environmental reasons because of the pollution. That wasn't it. It was the noise.
Yeah.
People were upset about the noise.
I'm just
So-
happy that we haven't had too much snow to deal with and just getting around. So not like our friends in the Northeast with so much snow. That's not very fun. But then probably come February or March, we'll be deluged.
and that's actually really pretty common around here, is that a lot of times we really don't get much snow until January, and then it's pretty consistent January, February,
What
March.
was the blizzard we got in February that one time where it was like all the way up to our
Yeah,
fence?
it was like
that was
26 inches. Or
Yeah,
something
it was a
like that.
lot.
It was one of the highest totals. And then you're right, it was in February. And that year, we had no snow, really, to speak of. October, November, well, October, you don't really get much snow in October.
Yeah.
November, December, really through January. And then in February it hit, and I don't recall the numbers, but we were way behind in terms of accumulation for the year, for the season, up until the point in time where we had that blizzard. And then from then through, like early February, mid-February, through March, we caught all the way up. And we ended
Right.
up having an average amount of snow, even though we hadn't had any.
Yeah, so I'm not holding my breath. Although when we were walking the other day, since we've been walking every day, it was one of those things. As it gets colder, I was happy that I don't have a commute this winter, because then when it's 10 below wind chill, waiting for the train, I don't have to do that this year. So I'm kind of happy about that.
Yeah, and our daughter is who goes to University of Illinois is especially lucky, because they really can get hit worse. They can get, downstate Illinois can get hit worse than the Chicago area, because sometimes just the way that storms travel from
Right.
west to east, sometimes they go south of Chicago and really nail the downstate
When we don't
area.
get anything.
We get the bad effect from the winds off the lake. So if there's a lot of moisture in the air and the winds are strong off the lake, it can kick up snowstorms, west of the lake through the city of Chicago and into parts of Cook County where we are. Northwest Indiana gets hit really bad.
Yep.
But when these big storms come from the Rockies, across the Great Plains, across Iowa into Illinois, a lot of times they dive south of us. And especially if there's moisture coming up. I'm like a meteorologist now.
We
But if there's moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico, as these storms are barreling through from the west, they can really get buried downstate. And they can also get really bitter cold temperatures, sometimes even
And I
colder than we
think
have.
that was my downfall when I went to school. I went to Iowa State, and if it was particularly cold or icy, I'd be like, I don't think I want to get out of bed.
Yeah. Well, so our daughter will have all online classes. She'll be on campus, but she's going to have all
Right.
remote
But she could be in her
classes.
pajamas and slippers if she wanted to.
Right. Not that you can avoid going outside altogether, but at least it's not like, well, I got to be at this 8:30 class and it's 10 below
And run
zero
from this
3
building
feet
to
of
this
snow.
building and all around. So yeah, that's pretty good. But we are planning on enjoying the rest of our week, getting last minute details. We love planning the holiday meal, of course, figure out what our kids are doing who are not meat eaters, although I'm sure they have a plan. I'm sure maybe pizza or something like that. But yeah, let us know what you guys are up to this week. If you have to work, I'm so sorry. Two, another thing that's hard is obviously being away from family.
Yeah.
This time of year, there's so many people. And actually, I saw this somewhere else. I mean, there's 5 of us here, so there's always somebody to talk to. But
Right.
there's many people who are living by themselves, don't have or have a roommate, but not live with their family, separated, all sorts of situations. So I don't even know where I saw it, but they're like, just check on people that you know are alone, kind of thing, just to see how they're doing, and just to check on people that you love and see how they're doing and things like that, and how they're faring, not being together this year. So that's always a hard thing to do, especially since you have a big family. Most of my family's here, so we usually see lots of people around this time of year.
Of course, sometimes it's more stressful to see them than not, but I'm joking. I'm joking.
I know we were
Yeah.
thinking about like when the kids were little, like how Christmas Day would be like a marathon, because we'd like get up, do your the presents, go to church, go to my parents, go to your family, and then it would just be like just an extremely long day. So
We didn't have a lot of those where we had to do both in one day, but it did happen.
it did.
Usually there would be one a few days later or something like that. Although every so often somebody says, "Well, let's do it early," and I'm like, "Are you out of your
Yeah,
mind?
I can do
it
later.
early?
Yeah, I could do later, but I can't do.
So you got to get Christmas presents early, and I mean, even if you already have them,
Yeah,
you don't have them wrapped. Hopefully,
I'm definitely not the person who is Christmas shopping all year round, stashing them in a closet somewhere. My dad would always wait until literally like 2 days before Christmas to even start Christmas shopping. So I think I always got that from it's okay if you're last minute.
well, the best thing about having older kids is that there's not a lot of pretense anymore. So
Yeah, we don't have to pretend Santa's coming.
We would, when they were little, we would wait until they go to bed to wrap presents. So we'd start doing it at, depending on their ages, sometimes
Right.
they'd be in bed kind of early. Now it's just like,
Yeah.
if we disappear for an hour, they know we're wrapping presents. There's no surprise. It's not like they don't expect
Where do
presents.
these
on
presents
Christmas.
come
Right.
from?
So they don't care. So in more recent years, we're done by the time we sit down to eat dinner on Christmas Eve, everything's done.
Yeah.
We're just waiting. We will wait till they go to bed to bring their presents down from
Yes.
under the tree. I don't even know why we go through that pretense, but we do. But
'Cause it's
we're
fun.
we're done when you have older kids and you can just be done.
Yeah.
And Christmas Eve you're just kind of sitting around and
Chillaxing.
putting your feet up. That's kind of cool. My parents would be like my dad always built stuff for us because he was a pretty good carpenter. My dad, he'd still be working on things in the workshop Christmas Eve, into the small hours of the morning.
Right. And my dad would be in the basement wrapping presents Christmas Eve.
Yeah, yeah. That was, and then
Every
in
year.
our family, unless somebody sent like an aunt or an uncle sent a present, and then we put it under the tree before. But nothing went out until we went to bed Christmas Eve, and then in the morning everything was there. It was always the case. I would see, my friend's house or friends' houses, there'd be presents under the tree in the middle of December. We never did that.
No.
I mean, even
Same.
even long after everyone was, past the Santa Claus years, the presents didn't go out until overnight Christmas.
Yeah, and
Christmas Eve.
actually, in years past, as many of you know, some of you don't know, we lost our last cat, Smokey, in September. And we wouldn't purposely put stuff underneath the
That's
tree
true.
beforehand because A, didn't know if you rip it up, or two, just kind of damage everything, and then it'd be like
Yeah.
everything that worked where it'd be messed up. So we don't have that to worry about either this year. So sadly,
Yeah, that's a shame,
yeah, I'd rather have Smokey back than not having to put presents in there.
for sure.
But anyway, so we just wanted to check in and say hi and see how you guys are doing, and let us know what you're planning to make for your holiday dinner. But we'll check in later in the week, and we hope you have a good night. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.